Hello, myself B. Chanakya and I am from ECE 3A. And today I am going to explain exogenous hazards. Exogenous hazards. Hazards which originate above the surface of the earth in the atmosphere are called exogenous hazards. For example, drought, rainfall, snowfall, winds, hailstorm. And there is a classifications that endogenous hazards are classified in three types: atmospheric hazards, hydrospheric hazards, lithospheric hazards. Coming to atmospheric hazards includes things such as oxygen deficiencies, dusts, chemical vapors, welding fumes, fogs, and mists that can interface with the body's ability to transport and utilize oxygen, or that have negative toxicological effects on the human body. Before entry into most confined spaces, a multi-gas meter is commonly used to determine the levels of oxygen, carbon monoxide, hydrogen sulfide, and the concentration of combustible gas. Other types of meters and sensors are available to detect concentration of specific gases, that is chlorine, sulfur dioxide, etc. if needed. The natural hazards that originate in the atmosphere of the earth are called atmospheric hazards. These include cyclones, tornadoes, droughts, thunderstorms, etc. Drought, rainfall, snowfall, winds, hailstorm. And coming to drought, a drought is a period of below average precipitation in a region, resulting in prolonged shortages in the water supply, whether atmospheric surface water or groundwater. A drought can last for months or years, or may be declared as after a few as 15 days. And coming to rainfall, rain is liquid water in the form of droplets that have condensed from atmospheric water vapor and then becomes heavy enough to fall under gravity. Rain is a major component of the water cycle and is responsible for depositing most of the fresh water on the earth. It provides suitable conditions for many types of ecosystems, as well as water for hydroelectric power plants and crop irrigation. And coming to snowfalls, snow refers to form of ice crystals that dissipate from the atmosphere, usually from clouds, and undergo changes on the Earth's surface. It pertains to frozen crystal water throughout its life cycle, starting when under suitable conditions the ice crystals form in the atmosphere, increase to millimeter size, precipitate and accumulate on surfaces, then metamorphose in place and ultimately melt, slide or subliminate away. Snowstorms organize and develop by feeding on sources of atmospheric moisture and cold air. And coming to winds, wind disasters contribute to tremendous physical destruction, injury, loss of life, and an economic damage. The effects of winds may not be limited to wind damage, as concurrent heavy rains and flooding often wreak additional havoc. While there is some evidence pointing towards increasing number of destructive wind phenomena over the last few decades, These findings are at least partly due to fact that our observational capabilities and recording of such events have improved markedly, leading to greater public awareness of severe weather events worldwide. And coming to hydrosphetic hazards, those hazards, those are natural hazards that are related to water in the atmosphere are termed as hydrosphetic hazards. Those include wave currents, tsunamis, floods. A tsunami, also known as seismic sea wave or as a tidal wave, a series of waves in a water body caused by the displacement of a large volume of water, generally in an ocean or a large lake. Tsunamis can be caused by undersea earthquakes. And coming to lithospheric hazards. Lithospheric hazards are those natural hazards that occur near the surface of the earth. It includes the following hazards: landslides, weathering, erosion, avalanches, sinkholes. Landslides. A landslide, also known as a landslip or mudslides, is a form of mass wasting that includes a wide range of ground movements such as rockfalls, deep failure of slopes and shallow debris flows. Landslides can occur underwater, called a submarine landslides, coastal and onshore environments. The lithosphere is the outer solid part of Earth, including the crust and uppermost mantle. The lithosphere is about 100 km thick, although its thickness is age dependent. Older lithosphere is thicker. The lithosphere below the crust is brittle enough at some locations to produce earthquake by faulting, such as within a subducted oceanic plate. The lithosphere is a solid outer part of the earth. The lithosphere includes the brittle upper portion of the mantle and the crust, the outermost layers of Earth's structure. It is bounded by the atmosphere above and the asthenosphere, another part of the upper mantle below. Although the rocks of the lithosphere are still considered elastic, they are not viscous. The asthenosphere is viscous and the lithosphere asthenosphere boundary lap is the point where geologists and geologists, scientists who study the flow of matter, mark the difference in ductility between the two layers of the upper mantle. Ductility measures a solid material's ability to deform or stretch under stress. The lithosphere is far less ductile than the asthenosphere. There are two types of lithosphere: oceanic lithosphere, continental lithosphere. Oceanic lithosphere is associated with oceanic crust and is slightly denser than continental lithosphere. Plate tectonics. The mostly well-known feature associated with Earth's lithosphere is tectonic activity. Tectonic activity describes the interaction of the huge slabs of lithosphere and called tectonic plates A lithosphere is divided into tectonic plates, including the North American, Caribbean, South American, Scotia, Antarctica, Eurasian, Arabian, African, Indian, Philippine, Australian, Pacific, Junda Fuka, Cocos, Nazca. Most tectonic activity takes place at the boundaries of these plates, where they may collide, tear apart, or slide against each other. The movement of tectonic plates is the most tectonic activity takes place at the boundary of these plates, where they may collide, tear apart, or slide against each other. Although the rocks of the lithosphere are still considered elastic, they are not viscous. The asthenosphere is viscous, and the lithosphere boundary is a point where geologists and rheologists who study the flow of matter mark the difference in ductility between the two layers of the upper mantle. Ductility measures a solid material's ability. The lithosphere below the crust is brittle enough at some locations to produce earthquakes by faulting. The lithosphere is divided into tectonic plates. Thermal energy makes the rocks of the lithosphere most elastic. The most tectonic activity takes place at the boundaries of these plates, where they may collide, tear apart, or slide against each other. The movement of tectonic plates is made possible by thermal energy. For the mantle part of the lithosphere, tectonic activity is responsible for some of Earth's most dramatic geologic events. Earthquakes, volcanoes, building, and deep ocean trenches can all be performed by tectonic activity in the lithosphere. Tectonic activity can shape the lithosphere itself. It includes the following hazards. The landslide, also known as a landslide or mudslide, is a form of mass wasting that includes a wide range of ground movements such as rockfalls, deep failures of steps, and shallow debris flows. Landslides can occur underwater, can a submarine landslide, coastal and onshore environments. A tectonic activity can shape the lithosphere itself. Both oceanic and continental lithospheres are thinnest at rift valleys and ocean ridges, where tectonic plates are shifting apart from one another. Thank you.